the truth so bright. Health and nature in every sound. Feel the rhythm, let's get unbound. From our higher we get our power. Every herb, every healing flower. Sister MJ shows the way. Naturally living every day. Naturally you, naturally free, naturally living as God meant to be. Breathe the air that's fresh and pure. Nature's bounty is the cure. Sister MJ shows what's real in every word and every meal. From the mountains to the sea, every breath is harmony. Feel the beat and feel alive. With Sister MJ we thrive. Grains and fruits in every bite. Feel the energy, feel the light. Harmony in every part. Naturally you, with all your heart.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 everyone.
Nature's bounty is the cure.
Good evening, and welcome everyone. It's a stormy, severe weather thunderstorm night going on right now in Nashville, Tennessee. So, with that being said, please, if we lose electricity, if we have interruptions, we will make sure you will have a complete show because this information is critical tonight. And welcome each and every one of you back. We are going to continue our autism part 2 because after last week I felt there was so much more that I didn't get to tell you, and I wanted to be very clear that according to what Scripture gave us, we do have a healing methodology that can be a sense of relief to parents and for family members that you may know who has autistic children. You have options, and the options are out there, and we're going to share those with you tonight. All right? The water, and welcome. All praise to the Most High. We made it through another week, and boy, has it been a week. But I must say it's been a week of reflection, deep reflection, cutting out all the noise, seeking some peace. And you know, when you really focus on that vertical connection, he comes through, and he has been coming through, and I'm just grateful. I've been praying for you all, and I hope you've been praying for me as well. And with that, welcome anyone new to Naturally You, where we dwell with the Most High, and we are learning about our wonderful, marvelous masterpiece and how we need to function with it in today's society, which is a lot of chaotic confusion and chaos. Many of you, and I may be dating myself, if you recall the show Max and 99 Get Smart, the name of the police department was Chaos. And that's what's going on in the world today. So don't think that this is new. It's been going on from in Egypt. And we just have to endure to the end and just finish the crazy cycle. and keep saying in the midst of it. Shalom, Sister Dawn, my sister Arapika, KK. Welcome, welcome, and everyone else who's out there that is not in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Now, again, as I mentioned, we have this serious problem with autism. And of course, Shalom, Sister Esteline, sending you hugs. And this problem with the autism, man, I tell you, I did some deep diving and I was horrified. And for those of you, I know we don't do politics. I don't do politics because I do a righteous government, and I know that's not coming until Christ returns. However, there are some people trying to do some good things. And there is currently a movie out there called Maha, which is Make America Healthy Again by Robert Kennedy. He and a group of people are studying the sick care system. And, you know, I don't participate in it much. However, I know there is real corruption. But watching this movie, this documentary, it lays it all out and it's horrific. If anyone wants the link, shoot me a text or an email and I'll send it to you. It started yesterday, but it's free of charge and you can buy the whole thing for a few, 30 something dollars, and you'll have it for life. But there's some good information in there. And also, I was doing some research, you know, because I think I mentioned last week that the Children's Health Defense, CHD, is where Robert Kennedy was before. Well, he was spearheading that organization as an advocate for the children with the shots, and he was just fighting against that. And there was all kinds of good stuff in that on that site when you just put in the keywords, you know, autism and what they found. And the government, and I'm not saying allegedly, but I probably need to, because according to what my producers may tell me, it's allegedly, but they have found that there is some serious cover up going on with the truth behind that whole issue of autism. And it lies with many, many lies. And you know me from day one, it's been all about they lie, they lie, they lie. And nothing's changed, nothing is new under the sun. And keep that in mind as we go through this, because the lies just keep on coming. It's like, another one? Are they serious? Do they hear themselves? So let's take a look at how we can continue to protect our children. And it's not that we're not protecting them, but as we learn, we're supposed to do better, right? And I'm hoping that this is what this help us to learn and understand that we need to do better. And if we fail from not knowing, now that we have the knowledge, let's use it to our betterment and protection of our children. Now, we mentioned how the Most High has made us his masterpiece. And when he made us, when we come out of that womb, all of the liquid in our body is single file aligned. So when that mother's water breaks, that single file aligned fluid coming out of her. Isn't that something? Because if you think about it, if it wasn't single file aligned, it would probably have a horrendous smell from being in there so long. But because it's single file and you know it's a different frequency, it may be why it's not such a horrendous smell. Of course, when I was pregnant the two times, I don't recall a smell. But if I'm wrong, forgive me. That was just my experience. All right, so the real alignment and the key, I want you all to help me connect the dots here tonight, It begins in that womb, in the water. Water is critical to this whole equation for autism. It's not soda. It's not juice. It's not whatever pop is out there. It's not the sweet tea. It's not the sugar, sugar, sugar. It is hydration. Hydration. And the best way we can hydrate ourselves is with coconut water. Coconut water helps us hydrate. Coconut water will help us hydrate and stay hydrated. I hope you all are hearing me. I hope so. I seem to be having crazy weather. It seems to have calmed down. Maybe it will go okay. All right, so again, coconut water has all the electrolytes in it. Oh, I spoke too soon. But the single file alignment is key because it's keeping us hydrated. And if you know anything that's going on in our world today, they want to pollute the water to make it so that we're not hydrated. They're taking the nutrients out of the soil, the minerals out of the soil. So our nutrition, our fruits and vegetables are not giving us what our body needs. They are giving us, from the minute we come out of the womb, in less than an hour, they want to inoculate with, and it's not allegedly, they want to inoculate if you choose to. And most of us have been programmed with the psychology that's out there to go ahead and take it. But we have learned and we know better now that that is something we should not participate in. And we have organs that are being impacted by all of these things that they're doing against Jacob. Oh, shalom, Sister Sandra. Long time, sis. Glad to have you here. And I hope to see you this weekend. Also, we want to, let's look at why this single file is so important. Because when you drink 1 cup of water, and remember, every organ within our body needs to be hydrated, not just our vocal cords, not just our mouth, not just our gut. Every organ needs to be hydrated. And if your skin is limp, looking dry, and you can't, it's not supple and nourished, your veins aren't plump like mine are, showing I'm hydrated, you might be dehydrated. If you have vertical lines on your lips, if you're always licking your lips, you're dehydrated. And again, we give you what nature gave us, coconut water. And why I say coconut water, to me, it's one of those drinks from the heavens. Because if you see the trees, every ring is a year. When you see a coconut tree, count how many rings and you'll know how old that tree is. So therefore, you know it's been around, its age, and its nourishment is being given to you from that coconut, from that tree. Now, our hydration, it's 3 times more hydrating. It increases our absorption. For years, you heard it's what it let food be our, what is Hippocrates? Hippocrates said, we eating, it's about what we absorbing. And if we're not hydrated, we're not absorbing what we need, what our body needs. When you're drinking SFA or single file aligned water, it's antibacterial and antifungal, period, as Sister Dawn says. And not only that, what that means is anything I'm drinking, I run it through my machine first. Okay? And like even this is my hibiscus water, and I made this, I put this in yesterday sometime, and I drink this throughout the day, but it's single file. So that means it's not going through my esophagus and down my larynx and all that kind of stuff to get my to my gut, but it's just going through my cells. It's absorbing it. My body's absorbing it because it's single file. And with autism, there's so much blocking the child's absorption. And I want us to get that. There's so much blocking it. Also, the nourishment, again, it's all about how we're absorbing. And if we have all these heavy metals in us, we can't absorb what we need. And so rearranging that molecular structure makes it easy to have our body be hydrated. And it's going to allow us to feel better, the things that we eat to go through our body and nourish us in the manner that it was supposed to in the beginning. That's why, to me, breastfeeding is so important. And, you know, the world may say, oh, do it at least a month or two. What? Do it 2 years. Back in the old days, they did it. As long as you've got milk, mama, give it to that baby. Because you're keeping it from being sick and diseased. And I know I've mentioned to you all about the importance of massaging. I feel that society has taught us not to touch our body, not to touch our skin. And I need you all to love the skin you are in. You know, I'm going to push this until I fall 6 feet under. Okay? Castor oil. Hexane-free castor oil. Everybody needs this in their home. I promise you. I promise you. Everybody needs this oil. If you're putting on iodine for tumors or cysts or a bruise, then you will let that dry and put this on. That linserenic acid is going to drive the iodine, the castor oil in. It's anti-inflammatory. That means it's going to get rid of inflammation so disease or pain doesn't happen. This is a key component in your health and wellness cabinet. That sounded like an advertisement, didn't it? Anyway, let's move on. Now, from there, we want to take a look at how these heavy metal toxins that are in the inoculation impacts us. And I want to dive into that because it's become apparent that we have been hoodwinked into believing that it's good for us. And again, we didn't know better. Once we know better, we can do better. Right? Definitely, once we know better, we can do better. And let's see. There are 5 classes of toxicants that increase autism risk. And they are power plants, the mercury from the coal-powered power plants, the diesel trucks, many guys, you know, we have a lot of truckers in our church, and they are running around that diesel, and they don't think about how that is impacting their skin, their largest organ. It is like they're drinking it, because if you can taste it and you can smell it, your body's already tasting it. So the pesticides, the herbicides in the garden, well, especially your flower garden, the pesticides where in our food, we are trying to keep the bugs away so that we can have a bumper crop. But what we need to really consider is how we can companion plant so that by nature we repel in certain bugs from the plants. And then we have the cell towers. And the cell towers, you guys, they're changing. They're making them. You remember curb appeal? When you have curb appeal, you know your house is on the market and you put out a nice set of flowers, or in your neighborhood, you all have competition of the yard of the month. So you want to have nice curb appeal. That's what they're doing with those towers. So please be mindful. Make sure you keep your copper on. Make sure you copper it out. Hint, hint. We have a sister who her business is called Copper It Out. So make sure you check in with her on what copper is available. And remember that copper is also good for your plants and it protects us. Ah, yes, Arapika, coconut water. Yes, I had some today. I had some. I'm working on my kidneys seriously. And so I have it with my black sesame seeds. All right, and then we also have the pharmaceuticals. And I'm going to, I have a list here I'm creating of future shows. We're going to talk about the thymus and what that is, because a lot of people know about the thyroid, but they don't know anything about the thymus, but it's very important as well. We're going to talk again about hormones. We were going to revisit that because we've talked about it before, but again, for pressure, female and male, we're going to talk about a fruit cleanse, why it's important, what is it doing for your body, how is it resetting your body. And I want to talk about have you counted the cost? A whole other topic for another day. And then and these are just a few that just came to mind while I was sitting here today. What if our world didn't have big pharma? What would that look like? What would that look like? You know how many corporations will be shut down? All those runs that they have. I mean, the philanthropy, it would be not so chaotic, wouldn't it? Anyway, I digress. But these heavy metal toxins are found in the shot schedule that is given to our babies. And we have lead, cadmium, and not just mercury, but the ethyl mercury seems to be the one that they're putting in there, and that goes into the bloodstream. We have arsenic, which you know is poison. Anything you have with skull and bones on that cross, we know is bad, right? And then thimerosal, that's another component that is of some of the things that I found. Now, we know there's aborted fetuses are in that shot. We know there's not only aborted fetuses, we know there is different animal DNA they're taking and injecting into the shot. All of this is being put into us for what? What reason? I don't know. But they feel, well, yes, I do know, because again, it's depopulation, but it's causing, and on that website I mentioned, the Children's Health Defense, they talk about, they caught people in a lie saying that there is no effect with those shots, and it's been proven how bad it is. So we're going to dive into what it is, how each one of these metals are affecting us, and what we are going to do, what foods the Most High gave us to help combat it. Now, I want you to keep in mind, although we are talking about for the children, please realize that there's nothing new under the sun. And if it works for Esau or Edom, let's say, then they're going to continue to do it. And in their doing, it's time release. It's time release. So therefore, we may be suffering, but not as intense as the children because they're younger. Does that make sense? They're younger. So we may be suffering as adults if we haven't taken care of ourselves or we have a chronic illness. We may have some of these issues that we're going to be talking about here as well. So again, if the shoe fits, okay. All right, so let's look at how the metals interfere with the endocrine glands. And why the endocrine glands? You know, we have several different systems in our body, but upon the research and diving deep, it seems from what I've found, it interferes with the endocrine glands. Why? Because the endocrine glands affects your brain, the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, which is over here, and then the pituitary, which is in the middle, right? The hypothalamus is kind of like toward the back as well. And then we have, of course, the thyroid. We have the thymus, which is behind the lungs, right? And then we have our adrenals, which sit on top of the kidney. And remember, we spoke the week before last about the adrenals. If the adrenals have any issue, if you have anxiety, stress in any way, cortisol, fright, flight, if the adrenals have any kind of issue and need support, your kidneys aren't being supported. They hand in hand, all right? Then we have the pancreas. A lot of us, our pancreas, if you have diabetes, your pancreas is quit working and you're on metformin or some other kind of insulin. And that pancreas needs to remember it has to work in order to give your body what it needs. So all of these are being impacted with these metals, all right? Then we also have the ovary glands, female. Male, we have the testes, which is all your boys, man. We got to get those boys up and running so they can swim and you know, be able to shoot off like that rocket. And if we can't do that when we have all these other things hampering us from being the masterpiece that the Most High made us. Let's look at lead. All right, it blocks the iodine uptake. Now we know, it's not allegedly, we know every cell in the body needs iodine. So why is this lead gonna block it, right? And I think there's two parts to that, because you know they said that lead is not, you know, it was in the paint and they had you get rid of the lead paint and all that. You can still buy it today, but it's very expensive. But did you know that if you have lead paint on your house, all that Wi-Fi stuff, it just shuts down. It protects you. So that's a twofold thing. But it's one thing on my wall versus in me. I'm just saying. Then it also lowers your T4 and T3, which we know that is needed for your thyroid to operate optimally. And that lead also increases the risk of hypothyroidism. It increases calcification. And if you remember, calcification is part of that heart disease. It's just calcifying our arteries and whatnot. Although we do have boron, which is really good at cleaning up that calcification, another mineral. All right, then we also have to reduces our melatonin production. We know that melatonin helps us with our sleep. And if we are not getting proper sleep, guess what? That healing is not going on. It is not happening. So if we are going to heal our bodies like we need to, because in any dis-ease, we need that rest to heal. We don't need anything like this to reduce our melatonin production. And then, of course, with that melatonin production interruption, we can't have a good sleep pattern. And we've talked about this circadian rhythm and how important that is. And cadmium accumulates in our thyroid tissue. It causes inflammation and oxidative stress. Again, it alters our hormone synthesis. We're going to talk about the hormone, but keep in mind, again, these are minerals or elements that are harmful to the body, and it's being used today in a harmful manner. Yes, these are resources in nature, but it's being used against us in a harmful manner. Then we also have mercury, which competes with the selenium, which is needed for our T4 and T3 conversion to let our thyroid operate properly. It damages the thyroid enzymes like tyrosine, and then it damages the pinealocytes, which is the melatonin producing cells, and it also alters our circadian rhythm again and our antioxidant defense. Now, when you think antioxidants, I want you to think you have your avocado and you cut it open. You have your apple, you cut it open. It's nice and green, or your apple is nice and white. And then in a few minutes it starts getting brown. Oxidation has taken place. So with that oxidation, we want to get rid of that, and that's why that having that mercury in there, it's taken away our sleep, and it's taken away our ability to defend against the oxidative stress in our body. So it's making us of non-effect, another way of putting it. And then we have arsenic, which we know that disrupts the thyroid hormone receptors. Therefore, that cannot work properly. It's altering our metabolism and our fetal brain development. Okay? Now, your baby just came out of the womb, days old, and they want to shoot that in. What's happening to their brain with that stuff in it? And they don't tell you. Now, it's funny. I went and asked AI about that, and they told me that, none of this stuff is in the shots. But are you kidding me? If it's going to alter our baby's brain development, why would you even put it in there? And they know this. They know this. Also, it increases our oxidative stress, and it impairs our detox enzymes inside the gland. So our body is fighting to do what it does naturally, but it comes in and it messes it up. Now, take a look at this, because every one of those areas I'm talking about encompasses your endocrine system. Why? Why is it necessary? Make it make sense. Somebody, please make it make sense. Now, there's something that I want to go in deeper on, because I mentioned the three glands in the brain: the hypothalamus, the endocrine, and the pineal. No, excuse me, the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the pineal. And there's such a thing as the master chain of command, the HPA-HPT axis. And I wanted to dive into that. If you think it's too much, I get it. But I thought it's something that we need to understand, because, again, it's impacting the babies and the children. Okay, so the HPT axis refers to the combined interaction of the two major endocrine systems, The HPA axis is your stress response. Remember, we talked about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And the HPT axis is your thyroid regulation system. Together, they form a unified neuroendocrine network linking stress system. And if you think about that, with a child who's autistic, they tell you their moods are funny, their food, the energy, the metabolism is up and down. It's all the signs of what is going on, and this stuff is impacting it. So the hypothalamus, the pituitary adrenal, which is the HPA, is your body's main stress response system. The main one. Okay? Its purpose is to help the body respond to stress by raising your cortisol levels. And that its release is based upon how you're handling your stress. Now, when stress is chronic, like most of us it is, although we ignore it, but if you've got high blood pressure, you've got anxiety, if you feeling like your body's running on E, you're just exhausted, your system is dysregulated. It's affecting your immune system and your metabolism, your mood, and guess what? Inflammation is taking place. Then we also have the hypothalamic, pituitary, and the thyroid, which is the HPT axis, that regulates your thyroid hormone, the T3 and T4, which it controls our metabolism, our neurological function, all this stuff going on up here, our energy, our body temperature, and all of this is part of what's being under attack with autism, with the inoculations the child is getting. So I want to make sure we understand that. And these heavy metals we mentioned, it doesn't really hit it all at the same time. It's here and there. Some people, based on how their diet and everything else, the environment that your child is in, what's being fed to them, how they're being nourished by the family, all of that is impacted. All of it is impacted. So, what are we gonna do about it? Right? What do we need to do about it? And that's a good question. How am I doing on time? Nature, the wonderful nature that the Most High gave us, He gave us foods that help remove those heavy metals, and He also gave us foods to feed the brain. And if we can focus on these foods, we will be in a better case to help our child. And sometimes, parents, we need to make it about the children, not about us, but the children. So we compromise, right? We're going to eat things that they like, that we can give them. And we want that seaweed, which is all the nourishment coming from the ocean. Along with the hydration, we want to hydrate the brain. We want to make sure they are getting the nutrients they need. There's the walnuts. If you look at walnuts and you look at the picture of the brain, you see that they're similar, right? I saw an advertisement on YouTube today talking about how eating the walnut age of misinformation. So you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Know what you know. Know what you know. And you look at that walnut, you look at that brain and tell me that there's no alignment, there's no correlation there. It makes no sense. So we're going to spit that information out and continue with what we know. So let's feed the brain. Let's look at the foods. We want, again, water, good clean water, spring water preferably. Keep that body hydrated. Coconut water and water. Don't ever exclude water and drink coconut water instead. Both are needed. We have DHA, which is the docosahexaenoic acid that is great for the brain. We have chia seeds. We have walnuts, algae, which is the dulse, the kelp, which you should be cooking with, right? You should be cooking with. And we have exercise. Not sitting down in front of that computer, not playing those games. Exercise, outdoors, sunlight is needed. And we want to make sure we giving them wild blueberries. And I say wild blueberries because the wild ones are more nutritious. They're smaller, but their energy source within them is packed full of nutrients. We have cilantro, spirulina. Spirulina comes from the ocean. It's green. And parents, find a way, mix it with pineapple, mix it with something where it is delicious for them. Maybe add it to some jello, make it darker. We've got to get creative because we want our children to heal. There's barley grass juice powder, that's excellent as well. Again, put it in a smoothie, bury it in a smoothie, find a way. We have the seaweed dulse and kelp I mentioned. And these are pulling those heavy metals from our children's brain. And if you have brain fog as an adult, you may need to follow the same protocol. It binds them in the bloodstream and you can flush those out through the liver and the colon, and then we evacuate it as waste. Now the foods, again, removing the metals, they're reducing the inflammation, they're restoring the mineral balance with all those, the seaweed are restoring, and it's supporting the hormone function. And it's not invasive, it's not harming the child, it's going to help them. So try to make sure every day they're having it. If you can't get them to eat blueberries, make blueberry ice cubes and put it in their drink. Or maybe if they like their milk cold, throw an ice cube in there with the blueberries. Something is better than nothing. Mix it up. Make a blueberry ice cream. Something so that they will eat it. The foods and the detox, how it's affecting them. All right, let's look at this. So the metal detox, we want to know that the wild blueberries, which is the strongest fruit chelator, right? It binds the mercury, the lead, and the aluminum. All right, it repairs oxidative damage in the brain, and that's what we want. We want to pull out those metals and repair. And it also supports the pineal and the hypothalamus. So that's excellent. We have the cilantro, which technically it's a herb, but it's essential. It mobilizes the mercury from the brain, and it works best when it's paired with a binder like spirulina or barley. Then we have apples. We have the apples, and that pectin, it binds the lead and aluminum. And think about it. Right now they're spraying the barium and aluminum, right? And if this is binding that aluminum and the lead, we want to be eating more apples. Remember when they were saying an apple a day keeps the doctor away? get your child to eat apples. If they don't like it, make it applesauce, make it apple juice, make it apple crisp, something. Get them eating apples, okay? Or you can dehydrate the apples and have it crisp and like a chip that they can eat as well. All right, then we also have the citrus, the lemon, the lime, the grapefruit, which has vitamin C, which increases the glutathione in the body and helps the liver neutralize the heavy metals. You see, this stuff is burdening the liver. It's burdening the endocrine glands. We have to pull it out of the body. Then we have papaya, and I didn't know papaya. I know in the islands we eat papaya a lot, but it's so good for you. These enzymes support the lymphatic drainage, which we know is key. And it also, vitamin C, the carotenoids protect the endocrine glands, which we need. And listen to that, vitamin C protects your endocrine glands. And how many of us don't eat enough fruits? The citrus, the lemon, the orange, the grapefruit. Just saying. Make sure your child is getting that daily. Then we also have the pineapple, which has the bromelain that reduces inflammation caused by the metals, and it supports the liver and the gut pathways. Again, this is diabolical when you think about it. Oh my gosh, the attack is real. Then you have mango, my favorite fruit. That was one of my nicknames, Mango, in high school. And it's high in antioxidants. It supports the thyroid and the pituitary recovery. Remember, the pituitary, endocrine system. And then we also have the pomegranate, which protects the DNA from the metal-induced oxidative stress, and it supports the blood detoxification. These are all key to why we need these foods to pull those heavy metals out of our body. Then keep in mind the top vegetables for the heavy metal detox, which will bind the spirulina, the barley grass, the algae. You've got they bind the mercury, the lead, the cadmium, and arsenic and escort them through the colon. So we've got to have our bowels moving regularly, right? The leafy greens from the spinach, the kale, the Swiss chard. Throw it in a smoothie. High in chlorophyll. It binds the metals in the gut. And remember, along with all of this I'm talking about here, we've got parasites coming in too, because they're giving that to our children in all the processed foods. And we're giving it to them because most of the children I know who are autistic, they love processed fast food. And a lot of parents just give it to them because it makes it easier. So they're not screaming or having a fit. They just give it to them. I used to work with a gal, and her daughter was really, you could tell something was wrong. She didn't have Down syndrome, but you could tell something was off. And I said, well, what are you feeding her? She goes, oh, the only thing she likes is Kentucky Fried Chicken. I said, and you, the parent? She goes, well, I give her Kentucky Fried Chicken every day. Can you imagine? Every day? And she wondered why she was behaving like this. And I'm like, she's suffering from malnourishment. But you can't fix everyone. You can only share the information, and it's up to them to do what they want with it. All right, we have broccoli, cauliflower. Remember, we talked about broccoli recently with the adrenals and supporting the adrenals. and how we eating too much broccoli. We only need like three. The serving sizes, they say, are like 3 stems a day, and we eat a whole lot more than that. The sulfur compound, it helps break down the metal complexes, and it supports the glutathione production, which we need, part of our energy. We've got garlic and onions high in sulfur. It binds the cadmium and the lead. Again, parents, please understand, we've got to protect the endocrine system. This is what is under attack. And they're calling it social behavior and everything else with the children, but it's lack of nourishment. Those heavy metals are in there circulating in the blood, and we've got to take them out of their body. Like we did a parasite cleanse and we did all these other cleanses, our children need that as well. And then we have beets, which increase our bile flow. It moves the metals out through the liver. And remember, the beets, it's red, so it corresponds with the blood and keeping the blood nice and fluid so that it's not sticky. Once it's sticky, you've got issues going on. And of course, last is celery, which restores our mineral balance. You've got your potassium there, and it helps your kidneys flush out the metals. It helps the kidneys flush out the metals. So, looking at this whole picture now, 8 minutes, okay? The war is real. It's very real. And we have to protect the children because our government isn't. Our government is not about righteousness. It's about unrighteousness. And our children are our future. One thing about children, they learn what they live. If you put them in a good environment, a healthy environment, and you train them up from beginning at a young age, they will continue that. Come back to it because it's their foundation. It's never too late. The body heals, it regenerates. That's the beauty of it. That's why I don't believe when they say, oh, there's no way to heal it. I don't believe that because I know what my God did. He made it where it should heal. And if we're feeding it, if we go into Him in prayer and letting Him know that this burden is bigger than us and we need guidance, He provides that information and we're sharing it today. So please, take a look at everything. Snap your pictures, whatever, the screenshots. Understand that this is doable. It's going to take a while. I mean, it took years, but in 6 months you can see a huge shift even before that. But it's just making sure that we're committed and we're setting a precedence that together with you and the child and the family as a whole, get them in, incorporate them in the meal planning and the meal prepping. Go to a farm, show them how the seed is planted and how the plants provide the food and how that food goes to the grocery store and how it gets to the table. Make it a science lesson, however you have to do it. If you don't live in a area that you can do that, make it, you've got all this information online. Create your own slides and show them how it comes from farm to the table, because they need to understand that. And we're the parents, we're the grandparents, we're the aunties, we're the uncles. We're in that kitchen. Show them, invest in them. They are our future. They are our future. And in order for us to break the curse, we got to get this stuff out of them. Because that's what the enemy loves. He would love to keep it all in us and keep us, just sick and diseased. He would love to do that. But we know our God, He's all-powerful God. He's the only living God. And He is the one who made us. So therefore, let's use what He gave us. Let's use what He gave us and make it where we can use it for our healing of our nation. Each and every one of us, please share this information with a friend, a family member, or someone. There's so many people out there. The children are hurting. And if you see people who actually shop at Dollar General or the dollar store and they get those $1 frozen dinners and whatnot, there's something going on. It may not be autism, but there's heavy metals in that food. And there's high salt, which is going to cause high blood pressure and all other diseases. And there's nobody I know who's going to say, I just love being sick. What does that sound like? It doesn't even sound right. I don't know anybody who would say that, right? It would be crazy to say that. Everybody wants to be healthy and happy and with plenty of energy. And I'm thankful every day when I wake up with no pain, I have energy, I go all day, and I sleep real good at night. And we have a way back to doing that. If you have any questions and need recipes, again, you can create your own online. There's so many. And if you just try mixing things up, make sure they know you take your beets and you might make a dip with it. And that's red. That's the color of the day. You can take some wood and take the beets and dye the wood. Make a birdhouse so they can see that connection. How it will tie them to it and make them say, "Oh wow, this is something that I've learned here, and this is what I want to do." Give them recipes. There are recipe books out there. Make it together. Get them involved and let them see the change in their health. Keep a diary or write it on the refrigerator on a notepad what you all had, how everybody liked it. Would you like to try it again? There's so much out there. Please don't be discouraged, but know that there's a way to heal this, and it all starts with nutrition. All of it starts with nutrition. Let's see. I have 2 minutes left. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. So we talked about the beets. We talked about the celery. We talked about how it pulls the heavy metals from the brain, binds them in the bloodstream. I believe I covered everything. And many of us need to see the connection here with us and what's going on with us. If you've got, again, like I said, any brain fog, take a look at what you're taking in and what you're putting on your skin, what's out there, and make sure you're using the best oil ever. And with the children, lastly, do know that there is a protocol for parasite removal for children. It's called Para Patrol. I asked my sister about it just yesterday. Let me see. I'll give you that. Wow. Let me see. It is called Joy Spring Para Patrol. PARAPATROL. It's for kids. It's a natural parasite or cleanse for children. And then also, if your child is getting sick, the first thing you want to make sure you do, get your castor oil massage the ears. Here is connected to this ear, just like the feet and the hands. So don't sleep on that. Make sure you are massaging their spine, the cradle cap on the young children, and the soles of the feet. before you rush them to the white coats. Make sure you're doing that protocol first. You'll be amazed at the difference. If they have a fever, make sure you have linen available and you wrap them in it or have them sleep on it, and that will help break the fever. Know that you do have resources available. Shalom, Sister Nina. Yeah, oh, Arapica, papaya with some lemon squeeze on top, or lime. I think lime would be good with it too. But know that we have options, and I pray that this helps everyone who has somebody in their family or has seen someone with autism. Send them to the show. Hopefully, we'll have all of these names so that you'll know which one to look at. And with that, my darlings, my time is up. And thankfully, the storm is over outside. And I didn't notice any cut in the show. So hopefully we're good and we don't have to do it again. And I thank you for spending this hour with me. And let's rock out to our song. Naturally You, because guess what? You are natural, and who else are you going to be if you can't be you, right? Higher gives us our power.
Naturally you, naturally free, naturally living as God meant to be.
Shalom.
Breathe the air that's fresh and pure. Nature's bounty is the cure. Sister MJ shows what's real in every word and every meal. From the mountains to the sea, every breath is harmony. Feel the beat and feel alive. With Sister MJ we thrive. Grains and fruits in every bite. Feel the energy, feel the light. Harmony in every part. Naturally you with all your heart.